In a sea of pinstripe suits, Anne Sherry is a breath of fresh air. She's one of Queensland's own. Would you please give her a big Queensland welcome back?
The world has changed, and thank goodness, because my growing up world had no women of prominence. My mother, who worked as a pharmacist alongside my father, university educated, was the odd one out in her generation when I was growing up. The fact that there is change. On the driving side, I've also been able to drive change. And I think and I'll come back to this theme, but I think the opportunity, and I learnt this young, when you have power, and I've been fortunate enough for quite a long time in my career to have jobs that have power, you have an obligation in my world to drive change. I watch lots and lots of people who sit in very powerful positions in all sorts of sectors, corporate, government and others, who quite frankly do nothing. And my view of that is that you're wasting the space. If you're not making change, if you're not doing something, if you're not creating something that's different as a result of your tenure, you should move over and let somebody else have a crack at it, because change is what is driving our communities. It's sort of the fuel, really, for what's happening in the economy, and it's fueling what's happening, good and bad, in the world. I do care about people. I honestly care about people. I don't just talk about it in presentations to them. I care about you, and see you later. I think they are important to my business. The resuscitation of cruise in Australia is fundamentally built on great people. I didn't know anything about running ships. I didn't know that much about tourism, quite frankly. I knew what I liked, but I didn't know much else. I didn't know how lots of those things work. You've got to have great people to run great businesses. And also I lead from the front. I think leadership is in fact about being out in front and doing the stuff, not telling other people what to do. And I often tell the story, when I came into the Carnival business, someone said, what about the previous leadership? And I said, well, they were hiding under a desk somewhere because nobody had seen them for like a year. You cannot lead businesses by hiding, particularly in difficult times. You've got to get out front. Business does not succeed in a world that fails or inside communities that fail. So there is an absolute linkage between success of business and success of communities. So we've spent a huge amount of time and effort working out how we can make sure that in all of those communities we touch, whether it's islands in the Pacific, whether it's country towns in Queensland like Gladstone that we now go to, or Papua New Guinea, the Trobrians, all those places, we work with those communities to make sure they get benefit out of us coming in a way that creates shared value for them as well as value for you, because ultimately that's the only way you can guarantee your business survival into the future, and that's the true measure of sustainability.
Whether it's a business strategy or what it is, you don't just say, oh, here's a risk, I'm going to take this.
No, but I think calculated risk. I think we're very risk averse, and I do sit at the more risk prone end of the, probably the spectrum. But experience counts for a lot, and you learn a lot as you go.
Is our corporate culture broadly in tune with the world?
They've been to Spotify and to those sort of edgy companies tech companies in the US to think about the next generation of culture inside the organisation. So their buildings and offices look much more like tech companies. Now, retail banking here looks like retail banking.
Right.
Retail banking there looks like a tech company.
Simply because with a particular issue that where change is required, and in the case of gender, a revolution, and let's say the feminist revolution, that's simply because it's reached certain milestones that may possibly be measurable, that therefore the only way is forward, not back. That is not the case, is it? If you take your eye off the game...
You've got to be vigilant. Change, all change requires vigilant and continued effort. So, there's still plenty of organisations who barely started, for a start. The fact that I've been successful doesn't mean all women are successful.
I think you've made a huge contribution, even by the high standards of this place. So thank you very, very much. Thank you.